Welcome to Wing World. Sailing works the same for winging, kiting, sailing boats, you name it. And if you come from any of these other sports, you might already know these concepts, but if you need a quick refresh, this is a quick video where you'll also learn the specific jargon that I use, which is a bit of a simplified jargon with respect to the normal sailing jargon. Ready? Go!
Everybody just get on down.
In sailing, we have two main directions we can go to, left or right. These left and right are always relative to the wind's direction, so if you're riding this way, you're riding left, this way, you're riding right. How can we tell? Because the wind is beating on the left side of the board when riding left, or beating on the right side of the board when riding right. That's how left and right of navigation are defined. It's the side of the board that the wind is beating against. So it's fairly easy to figure out, but to make it even more immediate, there's another clue that will tell you, and that's that whatever direction you're going, you're always giving your back to the wind. So now take a look at this clip. Am I riding left or right? Hit pause and think about it. My back tells you where the wind is coming from, and therefore you can tell the board is going left. The angle with the wind you sail in is called course. You can find yourself in one of the following three courses. If you ride at this angle, we say you're riding crosswind. If you start aiming more towards the wind, we say you're riding upwind. And instead, if the angle between the board and the wind is bigger than 90 degrees, we say you're riding downwind. Now we've seen the right side of navigation, and the left side is exactly the same, just mirrored. And you can see I didn't color these two slices, and that's because you cannot ride against the wind, and riding in this area you are moving with the air, therefore sailing will not be very efficient, so we just avoid aiming this way with the board usually. So how do you get to this point? Hang tight, we'll discover that in a moment. Let's just make a little side note and talk now about the terms upwind and downwind. We use them to name your course, but they are also used to talk about the position of things in general relative to the wind. You can see me on the beach right here, the wind is coming from this direction, and this is the crosswind line, exactly perpendicular to the wind's direction. All this area is downwind of me, and this area is upwind of me. So, whatever perspective you look at it, you always do the same mental procedure. You trace a 90 degrees line to the wind, and now you can tell that these bushes are downwind of me, and that this person walking the dog is upwind. An easy way to remember this is that you never want to be upwind. Now let's get back to our riding, and let's say you're going left. When you want to change direction, you can either turn with the wind, and this is called jibe, or you could turn into the wind, and this is called tack. And it's the same for the right side. Turning with the wind is jibe, and into the wind is tack. So now you can probably tell if I want to reach this point, I can sail left and right, always upwind until I'm there. But in real world conditions, you cannot always go for the most optimized trajectory, and for example in this case, with very light and gusty wind, your track will look a lot more like this. Fantastic, now you know the theory of how to sail to any point you want, but there's one phenomenon that you should be aware of before you try sailing: drifting. As you are aiming crosswind, we are also drifting in the direction of the wind. So to compensate for drift, if you want to reach the point, you actually should aim a little upwind of it because you have this much drift. When the current and the wind are strong, you have more drift, and vice versa. With practice, you will get the eye and will be able to estimate it with decent precision and come back at the point that you want. Amazing! Now you know all the principles of sailing in general. In the future, you'll also want to learn the right of way in the water. It's useful when it's full of traffic, but as long as you're a beginner, you can just give right of way to everyone. It's much safer. And for now, you can just internalize well the principles of sailing, and when you're ready, you can move on to the next video, which is wing control. I'll see you there, and keep flying.